Live from Madison Square. Okay, live from Radio City. Okay, Aronoff. Okay, let's just be honest. I'm recording live from my apartment, my studio in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah. Hey everybody, my name's Laila Hameen. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm an actor. I'm not famous, so you're probably like, I don't know you. I'm an actor who's not famous. Let's be real, okay? I've acted in independent films, commercials, industrial training videos. I act really content with life sometimes. I act all the time. No, but really, I do act. I've been acting since I was 11 years old. I didn't start actually pursuing it seriously until I was in my 20s. And by that time, people were so negative. They were just like, oh, well, you need to start when you're like 15. It's hard when you're that age. And I'm like, guys, I'm not 103. Like, come on, chill. But something I've learned is like, okay, every set that I've been on or any type of film project, there's always negativity. But the goal is to rise above the negativity. And that's why I created this company called Halo Arts. Halo Arts is Healing Above Living Obstacles. So it's an acronym, HALO. Healing Above Living Obstacles. And even in life, there's always going to be something negative that's going to try to keep you down. And a lot of times it's other people's insecurities. And a lot of times we listen to those things and then we internalize them and then sometimes do the same thing to other people and doubt their dreams. It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. Anyway, so I'm 35. I've been interested in acting since I was a very little girl. I was a very shy child growing up. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. I was a very shy kid. I was the youngest of 3 daughters that I was raised with. I have older siblings and I have younger siblings from my father's different relationships or whatnot, but I grew up with 2 sisters. So I was the youngest of 3. I was the quietest and the shyest in public, but at home I was a goofball. I was imitating people. I was imitating celebrities. I was telling stories, doing voices, being weird, and then out in public I was Little Miss. People thought something was wrong with me, I think, because I didn't talk. I didn't talk at all. I just wasn't very sociable. I don't know. I was a good kid, but I was very awkward and very quiet. So I didn't start getting really into acting until maybe the 5th grade. And by this point, I was living in Maryland. My family had moved around a few times. And it was my mom and my sisters and I. My parents had separated at that time. And so we were living in Maryland. We had no family. We had friends, that we we had friends that we accumulated. But I still was a very awkward kid, So I would just sit in my room with my little fuzzy ponytail and I would stare at my Leonardo DiCaprio poster and I'd be like, man, someday I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to act. I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be skinny because I was obsessed with being skinny because my sisters were like size 4s and size 8s. And here I could tell I was going to be a little on the meatier side. I could just tell, I developed early. My weight, I wasn't huge, but I was voluptuous as a 10-year-old. It was a little weird. It started earlier than it needed to, but I was very self-conscious about my body developing, about how I looked. I slouched a lot, and I still pay for it to this day because I have a hunch on my neck that I hide, and that's why I tend to wear longer hair to kind of hide my neck. But I do have a hunch that I developed from childhood. So yeah, I was very, very insecure, extremely, but I wanted to act. So it didn't make sense at the time. How am I gonna act if I'm shy and quiet and don't want people to look at me? I don't know. But when I was in 5th grade, I suffered with really bad public speaking phobia attacks. I would cry in front of my classmates if I had to get up and speak because I'd be like, oh my God, they're looking at me. I'm so ugly. I'm horrible. No one wants to hear my voice. Everybody says I sound like a white girl. Like I'm so insecure about myself, extremely, to the point where I would be crying in front of my classmates, and that made it even worse. And they'd be like, "Why is she crying?" I would cry just out of fear, and so I eventually, had to get through those things. But in the 5th grade, I was at a camp. We had this thing where all the 5th graders went to this day camp or overnight camp for a night, and there was this campfire, and we did a campfire, roasted marshmallows, and they were like, okay, we're gonna play this game where you act like a character. And I'm like, oh, fun, okay. And so they're like, Layla, you're gonna act like Frankenstein's monster. And I was like, okay. So what did I do? I said, okay, Frankenstein's monster. And I had this whole elaborate thing at the time, and people were kind of shocked, like, this is the girl that doesn't talk, but she's acting like a monster. Whoa. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I thought, oh, that was kind of fun. And I went back to my own little shell, you know. But the teacher ended up writing in my report card that year. She said, hey, you might want to consider getting Layla into some acting classes because she's quiet in the classroom, but when we told her to act, she knew what to do. And she became a monster. And my mom looked at it and was like, well, I mean, she, you know, goofs off with her sisters at home. You know what I mean? She's a funny kid here, but acting classes, I'm trying to make sure these kids eat, you know, like that's, okay, that's cool. Nice. I mean, it wasn't like my mom was being a hater, but she was just like, acting class, okay, cool. Other things to worry about, more important things, which I get, right? So I said, well, my 5th grade teacher saw that I had talent. So I was like, okay, I can still kind of be an actor, but I have to figure it out. So I would have my little conference meetings with my Leonardo DiCaprio picture where I would like talk to him and, you know, have conversations with him because he was my boyfriend in my head. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Circa 1996, 95, 96, you can tell me anything. I was Laila DiCaprio at that time, okay? So I would talk to him and I would sing to him and perform for him and everything, and he would just look back at me and I'd be like, yes, I know, boo, I know. So 6th grade rolls around. And by that time, I had gotten really into Grease, the musical, the movie musical, you know, call it. So I was into Grease. I became obsessed with it so much that whenever it would come on TV, I would like scream and know all the songs, and my sisters would be like, oh, this is so irritating. I would get on their nerves. I would tell my mom, like, I want to be the first black Sandy in Grease. And my mom's like, okay, that's sweet. Go ahead, honey. Okay, you know. Worried about the other stuff, you know. She was worried about the important motherly things, and I was just wanting to be Sandy from Grease. So 6th grade rolled around. In the 6th grade, my music teacher, Miss Kennedy, showed up in our class, and she's like, all right, everybody, we're going to be doing this musical. It's going to be called Reading, Writing, and Rockin'. There's going to be auditions this week. You just got to sing a song that I give you. There's lines, acting. We have rehearsals after school. You might miss some school because we have rehearsals during the daytime as well. I heard that, and it was made up. I was like, I'm going to be an actor because I like to pretend and do voices, but I also get to miss school for a little bit. The bells went off. I was like, we're auditioning for this. And by we, I mean me, and all the voices in my head. But then I turned to my best friend, Mandy, and I said, Mandy, we should audition for this. And she's like, we should. So she was going to audition. So we both decided we were going to audition together. And there was this part that I wanted, and it was Chris. And she was auditioning for Marty, and they were boy names, but, you know, we were little girls going out for these roles. And it's like, well, Chris is the character that forgets things, and I'm like, perfect, I'm perfect for this, I forget everything, you know. And so we auditioned together, and then we had to do the singing activity as a part of the rehearsal. I'd never auditioned for anything in my life. We had to line up one by one and sing the song, and the teacher would walk by. Miss Kennedy would walk by us. She was just gliding by, just like, and then she would glide back over to you again. Well, my mission was like, okay, I might not have the best singing voice out of all these kids, but she's gonna hear me though. I'm gonna sing loudly. And I'm not gonna scream, but I'm gonna sing loud as so when she walks by, she's gonna be like, I hear her. And sure enough, she heard me. And she was a little surprised, I think, because I was quiet and shy Layla, who didn't say anything at all. But I was singing loud, you know? And then we did the audition, and lo and behold, we got into the musical. And I was so happy. I was excited, you know. I had a song to work on. I was geeked, you know what I mean? I didn't care about anything in school. I didn't care, but I was like, I care about this, and I'm gonna be Chris, and I'm gonna sing the solo for Forgetful Blues, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be the Black Sandy in Grease. That was my mission, right? So So funny thinking about it now. But I was determined. So I would go home and sing the song and practice it. And sure enough, my sisters learned the song too because I would be practicing so much. And I was just excited. So it was me who got cast in a musical solo. So I had the solo. And another girl had a solo, and she was like really good. She was a grade under me, and she was like the perfect musical theater singer. And I even looked her up, and years later, she is in musical theater. And I was like, I knew she would be because she was like amazing at like 8 or 10 or whatever. And I'm like 11 thinking, well, I sing okay, but I'm not as good as that girl, but she can really sing. And okay, so I showed up, I did what I had to do, and I went to the rehearsals. I started to believe in myself, and I thought, okay, I can become this character and nobody has to know it's me. And that's how people are going to hear me. And that's how I'm going to make a difference for myself. And that's how I'm going to become the Black Sandy in Grease, okay? So I went on, we did the play. It was fun. I was nervous. I was walking off beat during my song, but I still, you got to start from somewhere. I wasn't like fantastic, but I wasn't horrible. I was good, And my mother was so proud that she bought a camcorder, one of those big old-fashioned camcorders you put on your shoulder. And she filmed it. And she was very happy and very proud of me because I had never done anything publicly before, ever. I was very shy. This is Laila up there doing something in front of people and she's not crying. Can you believe that? But I felt good. It felt good to have lights on me. It felt good to have a little of attention because I wasn't an attention-seeking type of person. If you see me on Facebook, you probably think, hey, that girl takes a lot of pictures. She must be obsessed with herself. Not the case at all. I love pictures. Always loved photography, and I like being creative through photos, right? But I didn't like a lot of attention when I was younger. And that was something that taught me, like, hey, it's okay. As long as it's good attention. This is something good you're getting attention for, and it's okay. You're growing. You're growing through this. Now I look back on it. But and my mom had the idea she's like, my baby can be in a musical? Well, then she can be a performing arts student. When we move back to Cincinnati, she's gonna be in a performing arts school. Oh, fun. So I'm gonna tell y'all that story next about how I auditioned for the School of Performing Arts in Cincinnati and how my mother had so much hope in me, but I just was not ready. But anyway, that was the moment that I fell in love with acting. I loved performing. I love the idea of going to rehearsal. Miss Kennedy wrote me a note, actually, in my program. Everybody got a program, and she wrote in mine, she said, congratulations, good job, really great work, you really worked hard, it showed in your performance. Wherever you go next year, please continue in acting and drama. And that was in the 6th grade, she told me that. And from her, I learned how to take direction in acting and performing. And I still take direction from her, even though I haven't seen that woman in over 20 years, because I continued with my acting and my drama. Sometimes drama in my life, sometimes out of my life. I like to keep it in the scripts. But, if anybody knows Miss Kennedy out there at Pointer Ridge Elementary, tell her I said hi and that I'm still waiting to be the Black Sandy in Grease. And I appreciate her for casting me and taking a chance on me, being a little shy, a little wimpy kid who didn't really say much but learned to speak a lot. So that concludes the story time today about how I fell in love with acting. And I'll do some more occasionally, and I'll talk about some more little independent things I've done. Like I said, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not out here trying to claim to be Halle Berry or Angelina Jolie. I look up to those people as far as their craft and everything. But I am somebody who's, an independent artist. I find my own gigs. I've done my one-woman show. And I'm just going to try to spread some positivity and just inspire other people to do what they love to do too. So, until next time, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Mwah. Peace.